Look, now I have a vagina. Now I can use the female restroom. I'm a man wearing a dress. So, a man according to my driver's license. Biologically, I have never reached adulthood. So, I'm an imposter. I'm an imposter. I love the way my lips look. So, yeah, I chipped my tooth because I was walking along a sidewalk wearing these size 11 black shoes that I had lifted from Walmart. Is that karma? And I trip, and I weigh 455 pounds. And when I trip, I know better than to try and stop myself with my carpal tunnel diseased wrists. So I just roll forward and stop myself with my tooth. Now, every time I'm about to share a truth, some phlegm gets dislodged from my throat. So, that particular condo that I was staying in, there was like a heavy spell in it. And I was fancying myself as an afterlife assistant for Miss Louise. I can't remember his last name. She had impeccable taste. In the months leading up to her death, she realized that she was dying, and she became obsessed with all kinds of stuff. She was wealthy. Her husband is an heir to the 3M fortune. And I don't think he even realized that. She took care of everything for him. Absolutely everything. And when I met him at this church, which the women, I think, really understand the doctrine and live it. And the men, do men ever understand religion? I don't think so. But when I met him there, he was saying how his wife had left him a bunch of food in the freezer, and I thought at first he meant that she had cooked meals for him to eat after she was gone, and I was like, oh, that's so sweet. That's such a kind thing to do. Oh, not realizing. The man had zero creativity, Norman Bear. He was literally just taking a piece of salmon out of the freezer and then cooking some jasmine rice in his rice cooker, not even rinsing it. And he actually hated jasmine rice and didn't realize he hated it. Anyway, just rice and that and maybe some vegetables. And so when I got to, he took me out to lunch after church, and I was telling him of the spiritual journey I was on, and he was like, oh, well, you should come and stay at my house for a bit. And it was really, really kind of him, because my feet were really blistered from having to walk, miles and miles and miles for days and days and weeks and weeks. Oh, my feet are already blistered, and I'm about to have to walk a great deal. But anyway, he took me to his house, and then at one point I was like, so, can I cook dinner? And he's like, yeah, if you cook fish and this rice and these vegetables. And I was like, okay. I was like, do you season them, or are you anti-seasoning? He was like, seasoning? I was like, yeah, there's a whole cabinet here of seasoning. You have sesame seeds and seaweed, and she had she had a very well-stocked kitchen, and it was just him having, like, literally tunnel vision, I guess. I will eat meat and rice and vegetables. And he had just been eating that for, like, 6 months. Then La Cocina walked in there, you know? Like, I will cook all sorts of things. And then, like, I started kind of rearranging his house a bit because there was a bit of clutter. A lot of clutter. She meant well, but, I mean, I can totally understand, being the caregiver that I am, that, like, you get a little frantic because you realize, like, she had grandkids that she was hoping to meet, but she died before they arrived. And yeah, so she bought a lot of stuff, and then he actually regretted taking all of her clothes and just sending them to the thrift store, because she had some really nice clothes. Because when I arrived, he was like, obviously you're female, and he, like, took me to the thrift store and bought me dresses, but no shoes or no sandals. And that's when I was walking along the sidewalk outside of his condo, as I was leaving for the last time, that's when I tripped and fell and broke my tooth. So, not that you're still here listening to this incredibly boring story of some random tranny talking on the camera. Look, my beard. My mom's always like, oh, it's so confusing because, like, are you female or are you a male? Because, like, you have this beard, but then you also have breasts. Ugh. She's always like, I can't find you clothes because of your big belly and your big breasts. I'm like, I can't wear male clothing, but I could wear female clothing because it's different. And by the way, if I wear male pants, it cuts into my skin and, like, gets infected. Underwear the same way. And it also, like, messes up my hips because I have a female pelvis and male musculature-ish, but I don't have any testosterone whatsoever. None whatsoever. And when I went to the doctor, and she was, like, trying to prescribe me, like, this extreme amount of testosterone, because my driver's license says male, that means I can get testosterone whenever I want to. So really, any of y'all female at birth assigned creatures could still, you know, I'll get you that testosterone you want. I told my doctor, I was like, I have no intention of becoming an adult male. She's like, an adult male? I'm like, yeah. You know when you're like 10, 11, and 12 and you have, like, siblings or cousins or whatever who are going through puberty, and you're like, I wonder, on my birthday, I'm like, I wonder if this year I will go through puberty. Well, I did this every birthday, and I'm now 42 years old. It's my secret. It's my secret. I'm coming out. I'm a child. I'm a child who wears lipstick. It's those puberty blockers, you know? A natural puberty blocker. Imagine that. A fever when I was like 107 degrees, and my mom was in her usual catatonic state. And then the Pastor Ann, she was also an RN. She realized that I was about to expire, and she snatched me away, as the universe has gratefully done for me so many times. Snatched me away, shoved me in a kitchen sink with a bucket of ice, lowered my body temperature. But As a result of that fever, no puberty. Ariana Grande did that whole castrato skit on SNL. And, yeah. Ich bin auch eine Castrato. Oh. If only my tooth hadn't chipped in front of Mr. Bear's apartment. And I feel like that was that evil witch saying, like, ugh, get out of here, you destroyed my spell. Yes, I did. Being a magically gifted yet ungifted individual, a sorcerer thinks it wants me around because I'll amplify his spells and make them more efficacious, but really I just learn his ritual and realize what will end him, cancel him completely. And then I do that. So I've already canceled 2 sorcerers. They're males. Males are easy to cancel. They're just XY. I'm totally on team XX, as long as y'all are compassionate. But do not think, as that woman did in jail, it was like, but I'm a woman, you can't hurt me. I'm like, you have me in shackles, and they're making you do this work because they know I won't play along with them. So you're allowing yourself to be used by them. And if you knew my first language, you would understand that means that you're giving yourself sexually to some man to allow yourself to be used by him. And that is low. So low. So, don't do that. If you wish to be in my good graces, do not do that. Stand up for yourself. Stand tall. Wear your crown. And be sweet on the inside. That's all.